Since it was just earlier that morning I had decided I was doing my project on disabilities, I hadn't really had time to figure out how I would approach it. I wish I had been quicker on my feet to recognize the opportunity to talk to him before he went downstairs. It would have been ideal timing, too, since our friends who could translate were there with us. I would have asked him questions about his daily life, if he receives any medical care, if he can go to school, what his family is like, who takes care of him. It would have been interesting if I had been more mentally prepared for that encounter. After that encounter, I asked Eddie what Tanzanians thought of people with disabilities. He said that he knew more about Kenya, but that people's attitudes are improving. He said they are building homes and programs to help people with disabilities. But in the rural areas, it is much more common for them to just be locked in a room because families don't know how else to deal with them. This was disappointing to me, although it wasn't necessarily surprising, as the world has traditionally treated people with disabilities unjustly. Disability and rehabilitation services are currently not a top priority for Tanzania, as they currently have more pressing problems, including malnutrition, HIV/AIDS, and sanitation. While many times families do support them, it is a daunting task. Discrimination, prejudices, and economic strain, and healthcare availability add to the hardships. It makes me sad that people with disabilities aren't receiving more help. Receiving help from the community, either through the possibility of child fostering or the economy of affection, can help those with disabilities and their families. However, many improvements need to be made in the future to care for the disabled in Africa. Future questions should examine how rehabilitation services are currently being utilized in order to improve and grow disability services in the future. Healthcare, education, and socioeconomic services were cited in a study as the most needed services by family members of children with disabilities. Specialty clinics with adequate resources need to be open, and families need to be made aware of the existing facilities. Community and home-based care should also work to educate caregivers and communities. The need for improving healthcare in Africa continues to be a problem. Learning about the lack of traditional therapy for people with disabilities truly moves me. It makes me want to consider coming back to Africa after being licensed to do therapy, educate, and help in any way that I can. I know that physical and occupational and rehabilitation therapies could significantly improve people's lives. I want to work to make sure that these beautiful people get the care that they need in the future.